ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, TheScoreEsports.com, G2A, NVIDIA, and ESEA.
Welcome back to ESL Pro League. We're going to get Map 2 underway between Renegades and Luminosity. This time it's going to be on Inferno. Don't have a lot of time to waste because I know they're pausing the pistol round waiting for us right now. So that's a nice change of pace. But it is going to be on Inferno, and we said this last time, but treasure these moments because we might not be seeing Inferno for a long time. You know, getting taken out of the active map pool. So enjoy this one, as Luminosity is a pretty strong Inferno team as well. You can see here, this is their record for the season overall. Luminosity now 15-4, Renegades 11-8, and you talked about it a bunch. That one loss even to Luminosity is a tall task for them to come in here and play one of the best teams in the world. Doesn't eliminate them completely from the possibility of making the LAN finals, but it definitely makes it unlikely.
Yeah, because assuming they drop this second map, then the highest wins they're going to be able to get up to is 13, which is just ahead of a lot of the other teams. And that relies on a lot of those teams that are currently tied at 12-6, screwing up majorly and not being able to pick up a lot of wins that get them beyond that. So it's a very tough spot now for the Renegades if they don't manage to, at the very least, swing a victory here on Inferno. The map record, those for these teams, Luminosity currently sitting at 3-0 on it, whereas the Renegades have an even split 2-2 across this season so far.
And I mean, based off the first map that we saw out of Luminosity, you could essentially say the player to watch is all of them, because they all had good performances, but it was very tactical, just a good dominant win in many different facets. So it's going to have to be big performance from JKS, from Mauser. They're going to have to come alive. Yam as well had a couple good rounds there in that train match, but just not put together whatsoever. They looked a little bit disjointed and thrown off by the play of Luminosity. So here on Inferno, could be a very situation where I mentioned Luminosity very good on this map. I mean, this could just be another situation where Luminosity is able to just outplay them just because they're so good on it.
And to start off to the side starts, Luminosity on the CT side.
That doesn't feel good.
No.
If you're a Renegades fan.
Not at all, especially considering what just transpired on the last map there too. Renegades struggled so much to pick up anything on their T side. Yeah,
that was the thing, because they had some cool tactical ideas in that train match, and Luminosity just kind of stumped them with some of the aggression, some of the information gathering, some of the mid-round plays that they made on the CT side, and just responded very well to what Renegades was doing on that T side. This time it's a little bit different. No one on Luminosity picking up any utility. It's all armor. There's 3 smokes on the Renegade side, so the question becomes now, 3 members towards the B bomb site for Luminosity. Are they even going to let any kind of execution come out from Renegades?
To start it off, the Renegades, all 5 of them, pushing their way up Banana, looking for a way into that B bomb site. However, Luminosity, they've gotten the read on this without really having to do any gathering. They just took a risk and gone over a 3-stack over here.
Yeah, well, Renegades kind of gave it up. That smoke they throw at Car just tells Luminosity they want to position themselves behind that smoke to explode through, and there's a good flank. And Luminosity, 3 members here. The stack works out perfectly. They read it perfectly, and Renegades goes absolutely nowhere.
Luminosity just shut it down completely. FNX picking up 2 frags, and from that point forward, a bit of a bloody trade fest, but at the end of the day, Luminosity take it, and we are immediately going into a pause. I imagine from Renegades' side.
Yeah, that has to be, I would imagine that's technical though. I highly doubt it's tactical for any reason at the moment. Not quite sure what it could be.
It's Luminosity. Coach disconnected, I think.
Oh, Zeus. Come on, man. There he is.
There he is.
Welcome back.
So, should be getting unpaused at any moment there. And we'll jump back into the game. And Luminosity, of course, once again, just like in that last map, will get their own starting advantage. And for the Renegades, they have to start building from ground zero. No plant that time as well. So heading into the second round, it looks like they're not even really going to try to like bring a couple smokes to the party and just attempt to overwhelm a site so that they can find one.
They didn't even get close to the bomb site.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. That's what we talked about, Luminosity being able to outplay and read some of the tactics. Well, hold that thought again, because it's going to be Luminosity not wanting Renegades to have any space to work with. They want to suffocate him here. Taco's not slowing down whatsoever. He does get the dink. That's the bomb down, though.
And for comboing into a second kill, this is actually a pretty good attempt to just stop Renegades from doing what I was saying before, where if they brought up like a smoke or 2 behind these and they wanted to try and overwhelm a site, just get a plant going in the confusion. This rush here stops that from happening entirely. So nicely played here. Sponge may be able to escape with 1 kill, but nope, that's not even going to happen. Fur takes it down, and Luminosity go 2-0.
Yeah, and not to mention just psychologically being punished like that that kind of play out of Luminosity is going to be tough to handle if you're Renegades. But I do want to go back to the pistol run really quick because this is how Luminosity read that so much. That smoke that gets put up at car, normally you see CT teams do it. It gives them a big advantage, lets them hold that control of that choke point for at least until that smoke expires. So when Renegades throws it, it's a very good indication that they want to get behind that smoke. They want to get much closer for an explosion through it. Renegades already had a stack, and you can see Fallen wanted to rotate away, but he actually bided his time and stayed when that smoke got put up. And they just were able to punish him on the pistol. So here again, more aggression from LG on the anti-eco. It's going to give away one SMG to Azur.
Azur, though, just falling back with that one. And most of Renegades, you can see not even really beyond the crossroads at this point, just sticking around there at the top of T-Ramp, waiting for a chance to get themselves beyond the smoke and closer to that B-bomb site. Fallen, though, going to spot some of this. That pole getting in the way, but he still finds 2 kills, almost grabbing a third, but slow on the draw to switch over to his pistol. So they'll take him down. Now just 2 left alive, though. A minute left on the clock, so they're not limited by time whatsoever, but Kill's going to roll right in here, spraying him down. Nice transfer onto Azur. And Renegades still will not find a single plan as they head into this gun round, so they're going to be bombing up. Thankfully, because of how preservative they were in these two eco rounds, they're still going to be able to full buy. But had they just made the decision to force it, they might have been looking at a much less successful one with a lot less utility coming into the picture.
No, Yem does not go for the AWP. So goes for the AK-47. They've got utility as well. 5 smokes, 5 Molotovs on the T side, all invested into this round. They have to go against the AWP on Fallen. And he's got that at the car towards Banana. He's the only one here. They sent no one to back him up initially. It's a lot of faith in him to be able to hold that or at least get away and survive and buy time for rotation. And look at how aggressive he's getting. All by his lonesome. Halfway pushed down Banana at the moment. Dodging some of this spam. And Renegades is just forced away by that smoke. I imagine that's going to be put back up by Fallen after he takes at least 1 shot. And there it is. He finds it. Now he can fall away. And there's the smoke that he puts up, so it's going to hold Renegades back. Again, Luminosity win the early battle.
Fallen sticking around for a little bit longer just to see if anybody on the Renegades side wants to tempt fate by going through that smoke. It's not the case. Renegades are trying to set themselves up for an A-take. Sponge getting mollied out back over there as well, but a smoke does roll in. Unfortunately, apparently gets hit from there. That should not have happened, but okay.
That's confusing. Sponge is going to be... That's one of those small things that can really put you on edge.
CS:GO.
So, Sponge takes some damage at the top of the staircase when no fire was near him. Taco now playing around the edge of the smoke. Pop flash comes through, but Renegades is ready for it. But the intel is there. At least 2 members of Renegades at top mid. 35 seconds left. Fallen gets another kill towards Banana. No control there for Renegades. So they either have to take the chance of rotating back into him, which is exactly what they're going to do. That's a good pop flash. That's a good something. That's a good nade, but it's a better shot from Fallen. And now he can just fall away, and even FNX is on the rotate, and Renegades, they might just have to give this round up. That was a Molotov, not a flash.
If they had pushed that together, they would have been able to fairly easily overwhelm Fallen, and then from that point forward, get quick control of the B-bomb site. But now that this first player pushes out like so independently, and there's a nice nade from FNX too, but now that first player pushes out like so independently, it acts as the early warning system, and they can just rotate more players over, and it's such a simple shutdown. So big mistake on Renegades, unfortunately, by choosing to do that with just 1 man leading the charge, as Fallen gets that intel out so early, and not only that, but he gets the kill.
Maybe feeling that they really didn't have any options with the time on the round dwindling as low as it was, but the real damage is not necessarily losing that round if you're Renegades, it's the fact that you only get 1 kill. Because now the money for LG can just build up. There's a lot of economy behind some of these players, and Fallen's going to remain aggressive. Taco's now spotted out 3 members in alt mid. He wins the initial battle. There's Yam chiming in, but Fur's pushed down Halls with the MP9, and he's going for more. The Yam is going to silence him, so back into a 3-on-3. Now it becomes a little bit of a scary situation. The B-bomb site is completely open. It's going to be Fallen who's rotating back there, and Fur's still spotting down mid.
Yam's a little slow to go into that bomb site simply because he's sitting at 2 HP, but Azur jousting with some of the remaining members of Luminosity, and definitely unlikely for Renegades to pick up any of these rounds so far, but it happens on this one that they have the best chance. Fallen left alive still, though, but not going to be able to spot anything beyond that smoke, and as it fades, most of Renegades are posted up now, ready to go if Luminosity even attempt to go for the retake. However,
I don't think they will.
Yeah.
Taco's so incredibly low, and he's got a chance to flank here, but the fact that they're so isolated makes it so he can't even be a good trade candidate. So Renegades punish a lot of the aggression out of LG, and they're going to win this round. So it's going to be their first on the T side. That's a good round to win considering what they came into it with. I mean, you can see there's only 2 members don't even have armor.
So getting those 2 rifles for free, big upgrades for the guys in the Renegades, and the rest of them obviously going to be sitting on enough cash to buy up into this next round regardless. Whereas Luminosity, I believe they should still be in an okay position to buy it themselves. Like we were mentioning before, not a whole lot of losses on their anti-ecos for the most part, so should be able to justify at least one more buy up, and then we'll see where they go from there. So Renegades, they're good. They get themselves back into this game very quickly, but they're not out of hot water just yet.
No, not at all. Although salvaging those 2 rifles, you can see there's good money built up all of a sudden because of not having to spend any money on that. So 4,700 on Yam still, 4,300 on you still. This means even if they lose this round, more than likely they'll still be able to put together a buy in the next one. Or a force buy of some sort. 2 ops though for the LG side, so they switch it up. They're going to give a new look defense at Renegades. One of those ops at the B bomb site that's fallen. Cold has the other AWP.
Taco placing himself inside of the apartments now. Waiting to see if there's going to be any aggression. He could get Sponge early on in the round, but it's going to be Sponge that actually grabs him. Now Cold, waiting to see some of his own, but the flash rolls in his direction. Doesn't actually see the cross from JKS, but that blind fire definitely going to be giving him away. Picks up the kill, trying to fall away, and there's virtually zero reaction from Renegades on that as well. They don't really try to chase him towards long hauls.
Yeah, there's no real ability for Sponge to punish that. If he tries to trade that kill off, Cold has enough time to at least fall back and have a new angle, and you don't want to face an op at that. It's a very stellar shot. Fallen, the flash comes out, sticks around for the shot, but he's got to try and get away, and if they see that he went towards CT spawn, they might try and pressure this, and they are. He's smoked off now. Flash going to come out trying to buy time. Molotov as well. They were going to be able to run around it, though. Even a smoke plumes to defeat it, and at Fallen, he dies to Sponge, who pushes right through the smoke. So the B-bomb site again is open for the taking.
3 missed top shots for Fallen this round, so not going to be able to punish anybody on the Renegades. They get into this B site again, and Fur is still committing himself over there to the apartment, so he's an extremely long rotate away, and it doesn't even look like he's going to be making his way out towards mid. I think he's just sticking around. I think it's probably going to be a save call again.
Yeah, these 2 are just going to try and see if they can get a lucky kill through the smoke or have some kind of nade force someone out of position to get a kill. And now they're just going to save their weapons. Money is running out on the Luminosity side. We just mentioned a few rounds ago that it had built up so far, but it's going to start dwindling. They're going to have to drop. No, they won't have to drop because Cold's going to save his weapon in the next round. He's the only one who's really, really light. So with that money that built up, LG is going to be able to have a solid buy in the next round. But this is 2 rounds now where Renegades, at least the first one, they punished aggression first before hitting that B bomb site, but Fallen was very, very alone at that B site, and once he goes down, it's all open for Renegades.
Now they've got their footing established here, but Luminosity needs to pick up a response right now. Otherwise, these T's will be able to put up a very even battle in the earlier rounds of this half, which is not what you want to have, especially considering what had transpired on that previous map. So to start this one off, Renegades splitting their players, a lot of pressure moving its way up towards alt mid, but nobody checking that early on here. Most of Luminosity sticking themselves outside the apartments. FNX goes for a shot. Some damage connecting on Azure, but he too brought down a 54 HP, and now Fallen going to come out to take the peek instead.
Yeah, I think that might have been a team kill or a team shot from Fallen that did the damage to FNX. But he's got the angle now. Taco throws a nade out. That goes into bedroom though, so does no damage. Very passive setup from the LG, and again, they're putting Fallen all alone towards this B bomb site. Ozer's close up, though. If they had someone to flash this corner, he could choose to get aggressive, and even so, he might be able to find Fallen here if he's just a little bit lucky with his timing. Now he hears those footsteps for sure, so we can call that out. The other op rings out on the other side of the map. Cold finds Sponge. There's Yam, he trades off Fallen. All of a sudden, again, the B bomb site is wide open.
They're going to rotate over a lot earlier this time, too, so it actually wouldn't be completely out of the question if Renegades were to try and pressure the B bomb site to sell this fake, and yep, that looks like it's exactly what they're doing. Just going to put a lot of pressure on it to force them to rotate over, since Luminosity had been a bit sluggish on it previously. Now they're just going to send the hit to the A bomb site instead. However, it's not been a full rotate. You still have Cold and Taco hanging out in pit.
Yeah, they haven't even budged because they got no information that hit was actually coming in. Cold misses a shot that was very near, though. Gets up on top. Him and Taco each get a kill. They shut it down. The 2 of them, that double pit setup. No utility that Renegades use can flush them out of those positions. So Luminosity back on the board after giving away 2 to Renegades. Although we did talk about there's now going to be another buy out of the RNG side. The Australians have 1 more to muster up. They're bought out very, very low on 4 members. It's only Yam with any extra money in the bank, but still, it's looking a little bit tough for them moving forward.
So same sort of split this round for the most part. A little bit more pressure working its way back over there towards Altman instead. So probably looking to take very early control of the apartments. Mollies and whatnot are tossed out to prevent Luminosity from getting aggressive towards Banana to spot this is coming, but Fur on the steps and Boiler, picking up that first kill, falling back very quickly, and Sponge is going to move out to look for a response, but he spotted him. However, Sponge, nicely done, gets Fur and then treads for the spray as he falls back inside of Boiler to take down FNX. Cold doesn't even realize that he's burning, and Sponge just wrecks another player from Luminosity, shutting down Cold, and just like that, it's left to Fallen and Taco have to rotate over from B.
Yeah, sometimes you'll accept the shots that Sponge just hit. That second one was very, very nice, the transfer over. Sick stuff, and it pretty much defeats Luminosity in this round. They're going to go for this retake. Utility used. They're still blocked off by smoke, though, so with the extra time on the bomb, they can be a little bit more passive behind this. Now it fades. Now's the time to move. Hauser behind that middle box. There's the spam, but he peeks up at the right moment. Fallen with the kill. Is he going to continue forward? He does have the AWP. Wouldn't be bad to bring this into the next round, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Just seeing if he get one more lucky kill somehow. That would make it possible to go for this. And actually, he's not going to get away. So he sticks around a little bit too long. JKS punishes him for it.
And now Renegades are right back on their winning streak here. For the guys on Luminosity, though, a bit of a tough choice to make. They could justify forcing up, and that looks like that is what they're going to do for most of their players here. 3 of them are in positions to buy up rifles, possibly an AWP as well if they want to pick that up as first, listening on 6.4K. But no, I think it was just... It's actually quite interesting because there were 3 players that could afford to buy up rifles. 2 of them did, but Fur just bought up a Deagle for himself and nothing else behind it.
A little bit intriguing. So Taco and Cold with the 2 M4s. One's going to be at B, the other is going to be towards the A site. So splitting them up. Fallen again, posturing very aggressively towards Banana, and Renegades know, I mean, if this is a buy, it's going to be low econ one. They don't get punished by any kind of aggression after they've started to string some of these rounds together, so they're finding success on the T side, which is very, very nice early on. P90 on Ustilo more than likely going to be used to lead the way, see if he can bait out some positioning, use all the bullets in that gun. You don't even need to stop moving, so could be some sick stuff.
But the Renegades all moving through the mid-choke point together. And all 4 of them looking to wrap their way around Rap side itself. Fur gets some damage connection onto Ustilo at first, but they're rushing around, and there's Ustilo, jumps over with the P90, shutting him down. He takes some damage from that one, and now Taco, one of these players with the rifles here, but he's so low. He's only picked up 1 kill, and Sponge is going to almost immediately trade him out. Cole is trying to wrap in, but he's also been spotted in Library, so he's going to hold back for a few more moments now as he's down at 66 HP. Yeah,
Taco had an opportunity to have a big impact in that round, but he misses the first couple initial shots, so it really kind of just gives it up. If he's able to get that first kill a little bit more clean, he can string that into a couple kills and make something happen. But it's a good round from Renegades, finding the intel with actually the rifles, and then once they see the Deagle, they send the P90 jumping around the corner. The mobility on that allows it to stay alive on Ustilo. Now he's able to even trade out the AK-47 for Hauser, who fell. Nice shot from Yam that's going to clear up the exits, because Cold is all the way over at the B bomb site, just saving this M4.
Nothing left for him to do here, but the Renegades putting up a much more aggressive fight than we saw back on Train so far. It's going to keep things close at a current score of 5-4, and Luminosity going to be in actually a fairly interesting position here in this next round, but for most of these guys, I was about to say not really able to justify a force-up, but now they're just going to go all in on it. Where in the previous round, they could do 3 rifles, and they only did 2.
Well, 2 shotguns on Fallen and Taco. That can get put in some pretty clever position. 3 shotguns total. FNX, Fallen, Taco, all with the Mag 7. I think it'd be really cool if there was some kind of like hidden tactic that LG had on this map that they just hadn't shown yet, and since it's like going away, they just bust it out for no reason. Just some little trick that we haven't really seen too much of.
It's been ruined though by the Renegades, unfortunately, as they've won that last round. So this time, both FNX and Fallen are going to be positioned on either side of the site, mainly just posted up by the choke points to prevent a rush play from the Renegades. 3 of them now working their way up Ivy to get some control, but there's been a lot of fallback away from that aggression that we were seeing earlier on in the half from Luminosity. They're much more respectful now of the Renegades, since they can't really afford to lose some of these guns earlier on in the round. They'll still keep the bomb outside of mid, ready to push it into that site in the event things don't go so well over here.
There's a smoke from Luminosity. He's going to buy a little bit more time. Taco just used the last one that they had over towards apartments at the A site. So the shotgun's not getting put into play quite yet, and Renegades still very spread out across the map. They do have a presence over towards the B bomb site, but the main attack, 3 members, JKS, Sponge, and Ustilo with the bomb as well, all towards mid. Yam's going to come group up with them, and Azur's turned into a very passive lurk over towards this B bomb site to see if there's going to be any kind of a quick flank. JKS leading the way, pre-firing the corners. 30 seconds left. And they're coming back towards the B bomb sites. They're running right into this. Fall has given up his position. He does massive damage, but he does fall. So Cold with the M4 has got to do something, but he can only get 1. And now even JKS on the flank, looking likely that Renegades gets their 5th.
Luminosity just completely split up now, and getting the intel onto these takes so late in the round, they're often not really left with a choice but to fall back and save a lot of the time. So this is going to be one of those rounds where they've just been completely boxed to the site because of how rapid the take is from the Renegades. And they will take the round without too much trouble coming out at the end of it, with Luminosity looking to save guns once more.
The unfortunate part for Luminosity is that they didn't fall for the tricks that Renegades. They didn't rotate, they didn't peel away when any pressure was put on one of the bomb sites. They just didn't have the arsenal to hold it off. So maybe it does come down to if they had had those 3 M4s in the previous round, would they have been able to have more of an impact at least and maybe win the round? But instead, this time, Fur's going to save the M4, FNX as well, and Taco with the Mag 7s are going to be brought forward. No one from Renegades even trying to hunt it down whatsoever.
And again, Luminosity just going to toss some guns over and whatnot, and they're actually, it looks like, yeah, they're just going to go for the full investment once more here. Just trying to keep the buys going for as long as possible. They've been stringing it for a while now, but this while has allowed Renegades to tie them up now at 5 rounds of either team. Still looking at the 2 shotguns in play, but 3 rifles also coming into the picture. And a much better utility setup for the team overall this time when you compare it to previously. But Taco gets destroyed here at the beginning. A nice shot from Yam, and he's caught on the cross from the mid choke point.
This is going to be tough for Luminosity now. They put themselves into a very awkward money situation with a lot of these buy-ups into these rounds. Shotguns not yet having an impact, but they've had 3 to 4 to 5 over the past 2 rounds, which is a big investment to not get too much from it. Fallen eats good nade damage, down to about 50 HP. First, still playing very close up with the M4. And Renegades being very measured across the map, especially with that opening pick. They feel like they don't have to go for anything right now. Just seeing if they can get 1 more, if they can punish any of those plays from LG in the mid-round that we saw them make on Train.
Taking their time with it, though. Still just posting up, looking to shut down any early aggression if they can find it. Seemingly think someone would have pushed up there behind the logs, but it's not the case, so Molly's going to be wasted in that position. The one that'll be resisting them will be Fallen. He's already taken a lot of damage, actually, so a bit risky to still be sticking his head out there.
He's had a lot of pressure put on him this match. He's essentially been the sole defender of this B bomb site more often than not. And it worked a couple times with that AWP, but Renegades is going to start abusing it now. They are all back towards the A bomb site. Last time this happened, though, they did rotate back towards B. No one from LG even moving to help fall out, even though the smoke is deployed. And there's the hit. Cold now gets pulled away. There are smokes up mid. I don't think he saw him in time, and actually he's going to come right back.
Wrapping out here. Slowly going for the take with the smokes in play, and Sponge will pick up the first kill yet again now. First still here to defend, as is Cold, but Cold not really catching anything on his spray. It's Fur that grabs it. Fallen picking up another kill closer to the B site too, but that's it. It's all come down to just Fallen that's alive, and the plant goes onto the floor with just a couple seconds left on the clock. But Fallen so far across the map and so outmatched now in terms of the manpower still alive for the Renegades. It'll be a save once more.
This defense is not holding as strong as it did on Train. They're getting punished now. Some of the kills aren't nearly as clean for the Luminosity guys, so they're not able to string a couple together. And Fur, you saw that wild spray there towards the end. So Renegades having their way. They're going to get up towards 6, and this is something that it's been talked about a couple times with the kind of the philosophy of threat on NIP on their anti-ecos, and when teams are saving against them, they're more than willing to say, okay, if save some of these weapons. That's going to be more motivation for you to force buy into the next round, where you'll have FAMASs instead of M4. You'll have a little bit less nades, and we can punish that much easier than if you're just going up against fully bought M4s after pistol saves, because it gets them into a long-term money situation that's really, really uncomfortable. That's kind of what we've seen Luminosity slip into here in this half.
This, though, is beyond the limit for that, however, and most of these players are just going to buy to around the 2K margin, not buying really below that, as they will need to save up for the next round. Good that they can resist things while their losing bonuses building up, but all of these heavy investments have not really allowed them to find it in the round against the Renegades as of yet, and now they've taken the lead. So to start it off, aggressive pressure once again from the Renegades, pushing back over here towards Carr. Not going to find anyone as of yet, but Yam is posted up to where he may be able to catch Fallen as he falls back from this point. Regardless, so Hazard just gets impatient, rushes it, and finds the opening kill against Fallen once more. leaving that B-bomb site very weak. Only Coldzera able to defend it. Not just this too, but Taco overcommits, pushes down those T steps, and is shut down, and Cold just walks right into his own death.
Yeah, and this time Renegades is winning the early battles. What we saw in train was Luminosity just dominated the early stages of the rounds. Now it's Renegades who's finding the opening kills and then just picking apart the defense. Now this round it is mostly against pistols, but it's essentially been a complete reversal from what we saw on the first map. So now it's Luminosity who has to respond, down 5-7 on the CT side of Inferno, which is supposed to be the more dominant half. But Renegades is putting together a very, very effective offense here.
So those final two, same story as like the past 4 or 5 rounds almost now, where there's nothing left to do. They just have to save, look for a couple exit kills. But JKS finally attempting to catch on to this and try to drop some of these guns. They won't carry it into the next round, but all he's accomplished so far is handing over a free AK to FNX. But he's going to be aggressive with it, posting up outside of Banana, waiting for these guys to push into them. Shutting down Ustilo now, looking for another, but I don't think he was expecting Yam to be that close, so he will lose that gun.
Yeah, not at all expecting that whatsoever. So a little bit unfortunate, not able to bring that AK forward. It's not too much of an issue because they're going to have the full losing bonus, so they're going to have a rifle next round no matter what. Fur at range, trying to tap away the CZ. Not going to happen. 7 rounds now for Renegades. Looking good, but Fallen's going to be back on the AWP. And the play we've seen out of him so far, and they don't go for a double op as well. It would have been a very tight buy. They would have had a lack of utility if they went back for that. But Fallen has been, if he's going to go back again towards that B bomb site all on his lonesome, they've got to be much, much quicker on rotating over. And actually, this time they are going to send Cold with him immediately. Maybe to at least get him in position, but Renegades has been abusing the fact that Fallen's the sole defender essentially there.
That's a heavy pressure push up alt mid once more. As 3 players move in to take control of that one. Still keeping 2 on Banana to prevent them from being aggressive and scouting out some of this intel. But Spur has spotted, I think, a couple of these players just around the corner at the mid-choke point. Not able to get any damage onto them really as of yet. They do know there is a presence here, and they know that there may be a possible take attempt coming through here at any moment. The Renegades, though, so far, Masters are really just winding down the clock, really keeping Luminosity on their heels as far as where exactly this take is going to be thrown towards. And most of the time, when they explode onto one of these sites, they've, like you said before there, they've dominated the early engagement, so they'll have an advantage as they walk into it. And now it's going to pull another player off the A-bomb site. Cold, though, nicely done. Spots Azar inside of that smoke and does find a trade to the earlier loss of Fallen.
It's a mistake that Renegades hasn't been making, is once they got that opening kill, Azar doesn't need to go for that weapon. Let him have it if they want it, but don't expose yourself to the kill. He didn't realize he was that far in the smoke, but putting yourself in a very risky situation. Now again, Renegades is going to have to deal with a double pit setup out of FNX and out of Taco. FNX isn't in the pit, he's right in front. So it could be a little bit of an off angle, but this is an angle that's generally cleared.
Fur also still pretty far away, back over towards Highway 2, but Renegades just moving in like a squad right now, all of them together, covering every which angle that they may be flanked from. And there's going to be Ustilo catching Fur, but they now know the play is coming towards this site. And Taco, again, unfortunately flatlining when it comes to overexposing himself from pit, so he's going to get knocked out. Same situations before. They find this out so late that Cold is left with no choice but to sit in the B-bomb site and attempt to save. Yeah,
it is a little bit interesting. LG is being much more passive in the mid-rounds than we saw earlier. They're not going for any of that information, so they're forced to play very, very far back. They're forced to give Renegades a lot of map control, and that's exactly what they're abusing. Now they're on the hunt. No longer wanting to let Cold be able to survive in the next round with his M4. Yam's got the AWP. Molotov's going to force him out, but he wins that battle anyways. Yam's not ready for it. Now Ustilo, he gets dinked up as well. There's a kill for Cold, but JKS finally does clean it out. They can even save an op moving forward into the next round. And plenty of money is built up. Renegades will have no issue buying for the remaining 2 rounds of this half.
Whereas Luminosity, like we mentioned before, they've built themselves up, but still not really with enough money to go for a really, really full buy here. They're just going to downgrade most of their players, either the Shotgun in FNX's case or the FAMAS in the rest of the team's case. It does allow them a little bit more utility, of course, but we've already seen rounds like this previously, and they have not been so successful. Renegades has been on a huge tear here.
A lot of it has been from buys like this that aren't the strongest, that, you know, where Luminosity is running out of utility, where they're just running out of firepower. They have a lot of shotguns and FAMASes throughout this half. So, I mean, they just don't have a lot of options to bring into these rounds to get creative. This time, again, it's going to be Cold. Luminosity has been rotating a lot of people away from this site to have one sole defender. It's going to be only Cold this time, not Fallen. Meanwhile, 4 members for LG over towards the A-bomb site, and Renegades slowly going to work their way up. Ustilo leading the way. Their newest pickup. Pop Flash is going to come in. That's going to allow them to clear underneath the balcony, underneath the porch. And look at this boost. Fur going to try and peer over the smoke to see if he can find a kill. Is he going to see Ustilo?
Didn't.
Not at all. A little bit unfortunate.
If they keep this here, though, The smoke is going to fade in a moment, but actually, there we go. Now he's going to be able to spot Ustilo, but Ustilo thankfully just barely peeked out, so he is able to get behind a wall, keeping himself alive. And again, this is that problem before, too, where they still have no clue where the hit's coming. It's all going to fall to Cold. Cold's sitting on this smoke, but I think the Renegades are going to wait for it to expire. So Cold is going to fall back now, and I think the Renegades, too, will start to rotate away, but it's still only one player. 35 seconds. The pressure is going to boil down to this. There's a good molly. It's going to force Cold outside of it, but Azur still blind when he picks up the kill. There's FNX finding one, but that's the only real player that's over here. Actually, no, scratch that. They're doubling back from the Renegades' side. They're going to go for the hit over here onto this one. Moving over towards Rap side once more. And FNX, he should have been able to hear these footsteps, but as he peeks out, he gives his life away. JKS is going to take him down, and now it's on Taco. Picks up a first kill. Now needs to look for more, though. Finds the second. Looking for JKS, and only 10 seconds left here as well. He's going to fall to JKS. That bomb's in the site. They should be able to get it down, and it's going to be a 2v2 post-plant scenario. Fallen moving in, almost grabs Azur. And he does actually end up taking him down as he attempts to jump up and throw that flashbang. So now the pressure's on JKS, looking to clutch this. He's been surrounded in a 2v1 scenario. Has that one flashbang, but he's also just used it. And in just a moment, Fur's going to peek out on the balcony, looking to take him down. Now just ducking down, hoping for cover, looking for Fallen to pressure him first. And Fur trying to find him in the back corner there. They've spotted him. They've got him boxed in now. But he's going to fall as Fallen gets the final kill in Luminosity. After about 6 or 7 straight there for Renegades, will finally be putting a 6th round onto the board for themselves.
Really unfortunate. A nice retake from LG. Fallen waiting for his teammate to have the complete flank in. Fur is able to come out and at least distract long enough, force him out of position. So a 6th round for Luminosity. They get back on the board finally in their defense. That also allows them to have a much, much better buy than from what we've seen from them recently. AK-47 on Cold, Op back on Fallen. M4 in full utility on the 3 of them, including Taco. It's just the other 2 who are struggling a little bit with what nades they can bring. And Renegades have no issue, as we mentioned. Plenty of money built up to survive any losses in that last round.
So now it's the usual setup from the Renegades. Moving their players up alt mid. They will move from there inside of the apartments. You've got Taco waiting around the corner. He takes a bit of damage, but he throws out that nade, and that's actually some great damage on Sponge, and it acts as a distraction too. So we'll see FNX be free to push up those staircases there and grab the first kill in JKS. For the first time in a while, again, you're looking at Luminosity finding the first kill with really no chance to trade it out afterwards.
Yeah, they have no map control though over towards Banana. Fallen again is pushed about halfway down with the op, so no one from Renegades there is going to pressure that. Looks like they're far more interested in coming to this A site. Sponge is going to be at the end of halls with the bomb, which pretty much commits them to this side of the map. Taco watching from Graveyard, FNX having an off angle, a vertical off angle onto Ustilo if he turns the corner. What does Renegades decide to do? They have plenty of nades. They have a bunch of flashbangs, 4 smokes to utilize on this hit. LG is pretty much almost already out of nades to use themselves, but Fur gets aggressive, and Ustilo's turning the corner with a nade out. That's a big mistake that gets punished. It's Sponge who responds, but it's a 2-on-4. And Luminosity knows exactly what's coming.
Cold locking on Azur there in order to shut him down as he jumps over that smoke. But Sponge, as the final one left alive in the 1v4, will attempt to clutch it, but obviously not going to go very well. So FNX shuts it down, and Luminosity fight back a little bit here at the end of their first half. It's still 8-7 with Renegades finding 8 rounds on their T side. Not a bad half at all, but they now need to keep things together on the CT side, which is where teams can often fall very, very short.
Yeah, but a good half from Renegades overall, because it did look early on, and Luminosity's defense was very, very strong for those first 4 rounds until they pushed down mid, gave away a round against just pistols, and that kind of started the decline. And so many rounds where they were able to save 2 or 3 weapons, and the buy-ups behind it were just so weak. We saw that one round, actually, was it Fur that bought the deco when he could have gotten a third M4 in a round, and then they went into one with 2 rifles and 3 shotguns with barely any utility. So Luminosity got into a really awkward situation that half in terms of their money, and that's going to give them a big hill to climb here in the second half as terrorists. It's Fallen with 12 kills. Cold has 13. Been the 2 big heavy hitters. Not a whole lot of utility on either side, and Luminosity, they've left the bomb and spawn. They are pressuring towards this B site. It's Azur who wins the initial fight, even goes for 1 more, but now he can fall away safely.
Moving back now, and Sponge will be joining his teammate here. Azur has picked up the first kill, but Luminosity is still taking it very slow. In fact, they haven't even moved the bomb outside of their spawn yet. FNX picking up that kill, looking for the second one of the Sponge too. He's taking down Azur already, but Sponge is holding strong for the time being. Really just trying to keep the pressure on, and it's working too, as it's weighing over more rotations here. And not only this, but he's picked up the kill. So Yam is going to attempt to assist, but he too has just been decked by FNX. So B bomb stays wide open, so they might as well take the bomb over there.
Yeah, even Ustilo now being forced back, so Renegades, they get the opening kill, but they haven't been able to do anything since then. It's FNX who just crushes them. 3 kills in succession with that Glock. No response from Renegades, and they lose the pistol round. That's both pistol rounds lost by them now.
That's essentially just 5 1v1s that Luminosity dominate there. So they take that with flying colors, and for the Renegades, might be in a bit of a troubled situation here if Luminosity get this strong of a start on their T side. Gonna have to respect it at first, not investing super duper heavily, just upgrading their pistols and a couple P250s for the guys on the Renegades. Not really a whole lot of utility either, just Azur buying up 2 flashbangs. So Luminosity, in theory, should have a fairly easy time finding another round here.
He's still going to try and get creative, see if he can catch Fur off guard, but the timing's not going to work. There's the MAC-10, 2 kills for him. Ysillo and Sponge both fall. Now it's 3 members stacked up for Renegades over towards the B bomb site, but the stack is much less scary now that there's no pressure over towards A. Fallen does have the bomb. If he drops here, it's a nice pop flash. He is going to fall for free, and FNX, he gets 1 before being traded away. They need to try and salvage that AK-47. They need that weapon, but has LG gotten here too quick? Almost. JKS gets away, goes back for a fight. Brought down very low. Cold does find him, and Taco spams Azur down, so it could have been scary for LG. Got close there, but Renegades do fall in the end, so second round in a row for Luminosity.
Losing control of the bomb at one point there too, but thankfully have a much better arsenal of guns to work with. And now heading into this next one, Renegades last save for these guys as they just pick up the P250s once again, but Luminosity hold control of the floor. And FNX, they're doing this thing too, I like this actually, where in the event you see like 1 or 2 players going down, you're going to suffer minimal losses just because now if, say like one of those AKs gets dropped, then if FNX is near that, he can just run over and pick that up, and then they virtually suffer no losses whatsoever. So good strat. Ysillo though, going to get himself into an early battle. He has some assistance coming in from Sponge, so he'll be able to find that first kill, and that actually pushes Fur back too.
That's actually sick from Renegades, and actually look at the aggression behind it. Ysillo just says, nope, you're not getting away. 1 more for him. Cold does trade that off. Now Fallen's got to do something. He's found a battle with 1, and he's waiting for that from Azur. He punishes it. 1 more battle he can win, and he does. So again, Renegades make it a little bit scary in the sense that they push back the Hall's pressure. They get an AK-47, but nothing else comes from it. Fallen with 2 nice kills, and Cold with 3. Cold's now up to 17-9. He's got plenty of money built up. 10-8 now for Luminosity into the first gun round.
And that's just on ecos too, that they're doing that much damage and causing that much of a scare for Luminosity. So now they get the guns in their hands, and more specifically now that Yam picks up the op here, and it's on the CT side for him, what kind of pressure are we going to see bounce back against Luminosity? Full investment. Yam, of course, on the first gun round, not really going to be able to bring too much utility, but he does get the op and armor sitting behind it. So to start off, he's going to play aggressively, moves out, and he connects a shot into FNX. A lot of nades coming his direction, but that doesn't scare him. He's here. He's looking for more. And if Fallen moves back out, he might be able to find a second kill too.
Yeah, but Fallen wisely doesn't want to push through that smoke. Such a big advantage, and much like what Renegades did, Yam's going to push halfway down Banana with the AWP, and he's going to be the sole defender on this portion of the map. Allows Azur to cheat over. So Taco's going to be the next one to pressure. Jumps across, grabs the intel that 1's in Graveyard. Molotov to force JKS out, and he's just waiting for it to start burning, but it's not. Somehow it burns you when you're at the top of the stairs.
But it doesn't burn you when it's literally on top of you.
But not there. So JKS gets away with 1, and that's huge because Luminosity thinks that's clear. Surprise, Fallen gets dinked as well. And now Sponge has an easy cleanup. It's a 2-on-3 still, but Cold's got to be the one to make something happen. And he is. Headshot onto Sponge, who gets over-aggressive, down to a 2-on-2.
They also don't know the bomb too, so they're going to have to fall back and pick that up, but that goes right into the hands of Yam, who's rotated around the flank. And now Taco is in a pressure situation. 22 HP left. He's got the bomb under his control, and he realizes Yam would have gotten aggressive to find this, so he finds him. But Azur is on the alternate angle and is able to trade that back out to give Renegades the first gun round victory, and immediately put them just 1 more round away as well from tying it up against LG.
So we have a pause come out. I imagine this would actually be from Renegades. Because this would be, I mean, it went down to just 1 player alive on the Renegade side. And I would assume this isn't a bad call if it's tactical, because if they get reset here, it's that nightmare situation where you win 1 and you immediately lose 1, and then your economy is completely gone. We all know what happens when that occurs. The economic reset is so brutal. So they have 1 AWP, but behind that they're not going to have too much. Already JKS has bought up a Famas. You guys will see when we get back to the game, but it's going to be a very tough buy. So they have to come up with a game plan to get themselves an advantage early in the round to be able to grind that out and at least string 2 together.
Yeah, because if they lose this, economy goes completely out of their control. And very quickly after that, then we just see the Renegades start to stack up round after round after round, and they will punish disadvantages like that.
Yeah, I mean, they've had success. Even on some of those anti-ecos in the second and third round, they find ways to have 2 players at the point of attack to at least give themselves a chance at getting a kill and forcing by pressure from LG, and they were successful with it. They just couldn't close out the rounds because they only have pistols. So now that they have these rifles, even if they're just FAMASs, even if it's just a shotgun or something, maybe they can have a little bit more, or they have to have more success with it, or else this half could get really scary for them.
So still waiting for the unpause to come in, guys. Renegades trying to plan things out now. They are finishing off the buys, but Luminosity still holding a very short lead. And again, just for any of you that weren't here during the last game, keep in mind the pressure that surmounts on both of these teams. Luminosity, up until a couple of weeks ago, is looking surefire to be the only team that comes out of this top 7 and is going to be like, yep, 100% they're guaranteed a spot. But that's not necessarily the case. If they drop one of these, then they're still going to be sitting, I think, at
15 and 8.
Yeah, 15 and 8, which
15 and 7 maybe.
is one below where a lot of the other teams can still get to. Now, with this one loss, if they can win out the other 2 matches that they have, they're still 100% guaranteed, but those are against Selfless, and that isn't necessarily going to be a walk in the park either. So
Be 15 and 5, I think.
Yeah.
I was wrong. Gave him way too many losses. Whoops. Sorry, guys.
You're good.
Yeah, so, I mean, that is the thing. They want to spread out and definitely grab that number 1 seed. And Renegades, as you mentioned, when losing both of these matches would make them getting to the playoffs very, very unlikely.
Yeah.
So a lot of implications in this matchup, and we do finally look like we have the full buy-in of Renegades. The unpause should be coming in very, very shortly. 10-9, as you can see on the screen. A rough first half for Luminosity, you could say, on the CT side, where they started out looking very, very good, and then kind of dropped the ball, and now they're trying to claw back into it. This is essentially the last buy of each team. Although, with the T-side economy the way it is, if Luminosity were to lose this but do good damage and keep the money low from Renegades, they would more than likely force buy into the next one just to see if they could, keep the pressure on, see if they can break that money in the next round. But huge now for Renegades. And it's going to be Yam again with the op, and they actually send multiple players over towards Banana with them just to guard them from early pressure, but that actually could be playing right into Luminosity's hands. Look at how quickly they're moving up hulls.
So risky, too, to put Ustilo here, considering without any additional support, considering how poor of a performance so far Ustilo's had in this matchup. He only has 3 frags. He's going to be close up on the balcony, but look, he doesn't spot any of this. He's going to be able to find one. Doesn't find that second one as of yet, but Yam picked it up, and now Fur responds by shutting down Ustilo into a 3-on-3 scenario. Has it further back, but he's going to get smoked off here. Still should be able to spot someone diving from that balcony area down below, but he only gives himself away. And now look, 21 HP left on Azar. He's out of the mix completely. Needs to wait on his teammates to distract first before he can do anything aggressive. The T's not only get this plan, but they also still have Fallen posted up inside a boiler too.
Yeah, that's when he's going to make this move. Poor timing for JKS, a little bit unfortunate. Azar's not able to save him. He was trying to rotate around to at least double up on the ramp on the site and leave Yam with the range weapon to pick off someone in pit, but with that loss, they're going to have to concede this round. They fall away. Yam keeps the op. Azar keeps the M4, so they have something to work with into the next round, but this is that nightmare situation where the losing bonus is now gone. It's reset, and the money is shattered for the CT side, and the Luminosity hang on again moving forward. So it's going to be another tough situation as Renegades decide to force buy behind these 2 weapons into the next round. That's the trap that Luminosity got caught in the first half, and it didn't work out for him in the long run. Spamming through, Azar just gets away with it in the end.
Very, very close, though. I think he was sitting just below 20 HP. 1 or 2 more bullets would have done the job in that situation, but not going to be the case. They carry over the guns, but Renegades, I mean, their money's a lot lower. Oh, scratch that. I was about to say their money's a lot lower than Luminosity was sitting with when they were placed in a similar situation, so they're not going to force buy, but that's not the case. They're going to go right for it. CZs and a 5-7 for Ustilo, as they do justify going for it here to keep their lead close, or to keep their disadvantage close against Luminosity, who are now possibly going to run away with it if they can win this one, as that would force the double save on Renegades.
Yeah, I can see the idea of Renegades as well. Sponge is just playing support for Yam, boosting him up over the smoke in mid to see if he can find anything. They do fall away from it, and JKS, it's just a CZ on FNX that does that damage. Azar's the last one there with an M4. He's going to smoke things off, but that's utility used early on, and actually, Renegades is biting hard on this. 2 players rotating over Yam and Sponge.
That's the op as well, so I think
it's either just a gamble and they say, okay, if you're the A-bomb, say we're just going to save these guns again. Yeah, because they're pretty committed here. The question is, are they going to try and push out when the smoke fades and try and find something? And it looks like they will, although FNX in this spot gets blinded. Sponge is going to clear it. Nicely done from him, but now Luminosity should know. The death cam should provide the knowledge that so many members were there.
so. Ustilo, first strike target here as they move in. Pops off one of them, but Fallen responds by shutting down Ustilo, and that's essentially it. not only this too, but look at the position of Fur. There's one, catches the other one, trading a gun. Sponge does catch him on the off angle, but he got a 2-for-1 trade there, and that is, at the end of the day, what matters the most. Sponge, though, I was about to say, he could take down this player as he crosses back over there towards porch side, but it's not the case. And he's just going to be moving himself in a little bit closer to try and pull off this retake, actually. He's going for it. He's going for the 1v2.
Yeah, it probably feels like he has to at this stage in the game, because losing this completely, they would have to save, and he's not going to be able to clear up in the halls, although it didn't look like, did he move away, or did he just decide not to take that fight? Now look at the distraction coming out from Taco. It's so well done.
He's got a molly as well.
Yeah, jumping across, making sure this is never going to happen, but it is at least going to allow Sponge to get away, although Fallen's rapping on him to try and stop this, and he's going to. Headshot onto Sponge. Nice job from Luminosity. It's 12-9, and there's no buy possible for the Renegade side, so this is slowly creeping away from Renegade's grasp.
Tolling the bells now, but they need to try and stay in this game like we were talking about before. Their chances of making playoffs are just so slim if they do not claim this map right here. So they'll have to attempt to do it, but not on this round, as their money's just far too damn low. Whereas Luminosity realizes they know they have a big advantage, so they're going to look to stack up some cash here. 3 MAC-10s coming out for Cold, FNX, and Fur.
Man, Sponge completely blind there. He gets taken out for free. There's the MAC-10s raining in from Luminosity. Typical anti-eco out of them. The MAC-10's still effective, and even Ustilo messes that up just a little bit. All 5 kills with MAC-10s in that round.
So Luminosity looking strong. Did claim a 2-0 tonight, which is almost solidifying their position at the LAN finals with this victory. They're going to have one more set coming up after this. And like I said, that'll be versus Selfless. But Selfless is one of those teams that's in position, so is in a position like the others that's tied up at 12-6, and they absolutely have to try and win all 4 of their remaining matches. So they're going to fight for their lives just as hard there, too.
It's got to be a bummer when you're trying to make playoffs and you have to win 2 maps against Luminosity, one of the best teams in the world. You got to be looking at that being like, this is not good.
This is not what we planned.
Not an ideal situation.
I think, if I remember correctly, too, they not only have to, Selfless has to play not only against Luminosity, but I think their other ones against Liquid.
Yeah, that's definitely a bad situation to be in. So it's tough coming down the wire. It's ruthless. Yam spots one, Taco jumping across, much like the last round, just causing a distraction, making sure he's a hard target to hit, hard to punish, but gathering information the whole time, and he's just going to fall away from that. First, smoke flash comes out. No aggression behind that, though, just seeing if he can bait out some utility. Now it's delayed aggression. He still is boosted up. He falls. Sponge is the next one who's the target, and they're going to try and chase that down, but he gets the second kill onto Fur. So they've held on just a little bit at the moment. It's a 4-on-3.
Taco's actually got pit control, though, in the meantime, because most of this pressure is on the 2 immediate areas outside of the mid choke point. So Taco's able to use that. Takes down Yam, and now Cold shuts down Sponge.
How quickly it turns.
Yeah, very, very fast. They did leave the bomb, I believe, over towards alt mid.
They've actually left the bomb a lot in this map, on this T side. They left it in T-spawn, on the Pisteron, I believe it was. I left it in alt mid one other time before this, and now here again. So a little bit of miscommunication, but thankfully in this round it's not going to punish them because they're just so dominant on that second hit up towards brackets.
And you're going to see JKS too. JKS does not want to waste any time with this. He's saving. Trying to keep the gun in play, as once more, the guys on the Renegades will be in a very delicate situation. Going to be up to a 4-round losing bonus. It won't be maxed out yet.
Well, I mean, Delicate's putting it nicely. They're going to be in a crappy money situation.
All right.
I mean, a terrible money situation for the time of the game. This is they're really not going to be able to bring too much. You have Ustilo and Yam are at $50 at the moment. Oz are at 100. So I mean, not even able to bring M4s and armor into it.
Yeah, I was about to say, are they even really going to be able to justify it at that point, since they're going to be so limited? If JKS carries over this rifle, it's going to be nice to have, but still, most of these players aren't even really going to be able to buy any utility, and you're taking a big risk on that now. Kind of like what we had in the last map, too, where they allowed us to go to 15 rounds before buying up.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was just so far to their grasp. It's like, why not? You know, pick your poison. Do you go for a very weak win, or do you just hope that you get dominant first win on the gun round and then kind of run a streak from there? This time, though, with the score being a little bit closer, they don't want to let Luminosity get to 15 at this point. At 9 rounds, if they can win this, I mean, they can come back into it. There's just so much money against Luminosity, and that's kind of the big win that LG had. It was that round. You saw how important it was when Renegades paused for it. That 5th round that they weren't able to win, Luminosity shatters their money, and then it's kind of been downhill for LG from there. Sponge is going to go for a peek, though.
Luminosity also very quick to the mid-choke point, so Sponge has to transition himself inside a boiler room. He's Steelo getting aggressive back by the T-steps, but Sponge catches the first kill, able to take down Fur, trades out to an AK and finds a second. When you Steelo rocking down there, He is going to be able to take down Taco, as Taco was not expecting this much aggression. Fallen finding a better luck back over here towards the B-bomb site, but now they need to take this quickly because Renegades are going to attempt to box these final two players, and they can't afford to sit around here and wait. They need to go for this very quickly.
Look at Fallen. He's trying to rotate all the way around. He's not expecting Usilla to be there. I think you had the good read on it. I expected the same thing. I expected to see FNX and Fallen just kind of burst through that smoke, knowing they got one kill, that they would more than likely just have a 2-on-1 coming through the smoke. Which is not a great fight, obviously, coming through smoke at all, but you know what you're going to get. Fallen tries to rotate to the map and just gets picked off, and now Yam finds that final kill. So good opening from Sponge with 2 kills. Usilla as well, pushing down and being aggressive, and Halls gets 1. And there's that buy, and because they live with 3 members alive, they can have a pretty solid buy behind this as well.
A couple free guns also scavenged on that. 2 AKs getting brought to the party, so it's actually going to save quite a bit of money. Will allow them to maybe still stay alive in the event we see LG just stealing this round away and resetting their own losing bonus. So Luminosity, though, with no trouble reinvesting into this round. No op being brought into the picture for Fallen. Usually just generally avoided as well by most of the Ts on this map, unless they're feeling really confident about their performance. But on the cross, one of the CTs gets tagged just a little bit. Really nothing to worry about, though. But Yam hit by a molly, I believe, as he walks back down boiler steps, and now he's been hit pretty heavily, down to 54 HP.
Video strong, at least for the moment. It's going to be Ozzer holding towards Banana, and he wants to go for a peek. Pop flash comes in. Fallen not completely blind, but he can't recover in time. FNX is going to have a good trade. Ozzer couldn't get back in time to avoid that. So things are pretty evened out, although there's no smokes left on the Renegade side. They do have 4 Molotovs to use. With over a minute and no smokes, it's going to be very, very difficult for him to slow this down. Fur, again, going to go through the routine. Smoke towards Porch. There's the Molotov from Yam. Looked almost like he wanted to push into that, but he does think better of it.
Now the team is sitting outside of that mid-choke point. They've been a couple more, but Sponge leaps through. Shuts down one of them, taking down Cold. Fur is there for a response, and that has been the story for most of these engagements so far in this round. They are going to fall back, and Usilla is taking down Taco as he attempted to retreat back from that mid-choke point. So just 2 left alive, and they're once again stuck on Banana. They'll look for an entry from here, but the Renegades are slowly shifting their own intentions closer to this B-bomb site, and now they're going to bite hard now that they've seen FNX in the bomb site. They're trying to wrap on JKS, but JKS's main goal is keeping himself alive for as long as possible. He may not even need that help from his teammates. Fur just waiting for the peak, but he's out of time now. They've arrived from CT, and they're slowly hitting him. But so patient.
Yeah, I mean, he even gets tagged by bolts from behind. Doesn't even move. Almost like he took his hands off the keyboard, but he does get spammed as the smoke clears. Yam finds him. 11 of 14, Renegades trying to mount a comeback here. They've got a couple more buys to work through. Actually, this might be the last one as guns are needed to drop over in the Luminosity side. So Renegades on the verge of breaking the money of LG, and that would definitely help them close this gap. Definitely get it into danger territory for Luminosity to kind of lose their grip on this win.
And starting it off for Luminosity, the players split once more. Not really a team to try and go for that very fast style of play, but there's a Molotov tossed over by the crossroads, so we're not going to see any mid-action as of yet, and this is actually a trap being set, because look at the Renegades, they're going to be pushing down Banana. They've got them cornered back over here. Fur holds his own for now, finds his second one, and Renegades, good intentions, but bad execution. Yam finally striking back with at least 1 kill, but now they've overexposed themselves, and they should know that at most there's only going to be 1 player here committed to the B-bomb site.
Man, really sick from Luminosity. Renegades, they try and catch him off, but it doesn't work out. So very, very tough now for Renegades. 3-on-4 situation. They've used so much utility as well. 2 Molotovs, a flash, and a smoke. It's all they have left into this round. And LG has over a minute, and they're one of the best teams at it to peel apart the defense of Luminosity. And they're all going to convene over towards reps, or alternate mid at the moment. All 4 of them underneath that balcony. Yam still holding B, doesn't see anything. It's a double pit setup for JKS and Sponge, which means the biggest gap in the defense is wrapping around that 8 bomb site, but will Luminosity read it?
It's going to be mainly Luminosity pushing through that mid-choke now as they look for a way into the A-bomb site. 2 inside of the pit, it's JKS along with Sponge, but Sponge has been pressured so much. Nice taps, though, and it's actually going to burn Cold alive as that molly disconnect, but Fallen responds. JKS, though, is still alive in this pit, and almost single-handedly keeping his team in this round at this point as he moves up. Looks for Fallen, not able to find him as he goes for the plant through the box. He does actually grab him, though. Not only is he going to get that kill, but it prevents the plant from going down. So FNX will be looking for a 1v2. I do believe they think he's on the site, so he may be able to surprise Yam by picking up this kill, but he needs to get the second one very fast after that. Finds the first one, and also been brought down to 9 HP, but 5 seconds left. I don't think he can plant this, and even if he would, JKS knows he's going to go for it right behind his fallen teammate, so just sprays him down through the box. JKS single-handedly keeps Renegades in that round and possibly in this match, too.
That spam to prevent the plant was so incredibly important because Luminosity, they had to risk the fact that he could get the bomb down on his own just because the other player was cutting off rotations from the B bomb site. They were content in that 2-on-2 to let JKS live inside the pit as long as they could destroy Yam when he rotated over, but weren't able to do it in time, and JKS is a huge round. Yam now, opening pick, swings out confidently. Fallen's not ready for it. FNX is now close up with the Deagle. We've seen how impactful these could be. And Yam, for whatever reason, swings out so wide. I think it's had to have been because he was confident with his teammates flanking down down Banana that he wasn't going to get shot from mid, but he gets shot from ult. And there's the P90. Sponge doesn't even need to stop. A couple kills come out for Luminosity, but 13-14 now for Renegades. They've made this comeback.
And now they're just one more away from tying it up. But that one lighter round from Luminosity is going to be enough for these guys to get right back onto the AK train here, too. And Renegades have to toss away a couple of guns. So here's the thing, is that despite this huge streak of rounds from Renegades, they still have not really solidified an economy. So they're on the verge of being broken just with one round pickup from Luminosity, or at the very least being limited severely by what they can bring to the table in the next round. So if Luminosity wins just one of these gun rounds, they'll still close out the match.
Yam's going to push down A Halls. He's going to meet a lot of aggression. Yustilla with the P90 goes for that fight. Furcroft's underneath it. Now Yam, he's out in the open. Not prepared for it. Again, another round, 2 in a row where he's been caught with a nade in his hand. This time it's a Molly, and Taco didn't really need to use that. It was going to expire in a couple seconds, but he just wanted to get a Halls a little bit quicker because they made the call to execute on this A bomb site, and Fallen is merciless, pushing through that smoke. It's all down to just Ozzer so quickly. This Luminosity team, they find those 2 kills, and it's lightning fast how quick they get into the A bomb site.
Ozzer, last one alive, but he's going to get destroyed by Cold. So there you go. Now Luminosity wins that one round that they needed. And for the Renegades, they'll be forcing up here, obviously, but in terms of options they have, it's probably not all that much. We can already see it. Just upgraded pistols for, I think, about 2 or 3 of these guys. Ozzer and Sponge most notably. Yam is able to get the only rifle for this team, but then Yustilla buys a shotgun. No armor behind that either. And JKS with an SMG and the biggest utility buy for this entire team.
What do they decide to do with JKS? He's going to be the only one at the B bomb site, just with that UMP like you mentioned. So Renegades putting a lot of emphasis on stopping any early mid pressure. He's still a shotgun. He spots the head of Taco. He's going to try and flank behind him. Or no, he's not. He's got to be careful. I think maybe someone could be jumping up in a balcony. He doesn't want to risk it. There's a pop flash. Sponge is going to peek with it, and he gets one. Cold falls. His teammate was trying. Fur was trying to cover for him, but it just didn't land the shots quick enough. But Taco lurking out these A halls. That's perfect. Equalizes things. Although still, kills just going back and forth as Yustilla gets aggressive through the smoke and finds Fur.
FNX is looking for a way into this B bomb site, or at the very least looking for a way to pressure this a little bit. It gets re-smoked by the CTs, so he isn't going to be able to spot anything just as of yet. Flashbang also rolls out, but unfortunately that's not really going to do all that much. The bomb is now rejoined. The B bomb site, though, still being carried by Fallen, so it looks like they may be making a push over here with 50 seconds left. There's no need to rush anything, but they're so limited on utility from this Luminosity side. They might just be committing themselves to it right now. JKS maybe getting a little bit impatient in a moment here and peeking, and I think FNX has spotted him, so there you go. He's going to be able to line up that shot. Fallen follows it up with his own onto Ozzer, and now they get control of the B bomb site. And it's only 2 left alive here for the Renegades.
Yeah, quickly down to just 1 as Taco plays a perfect flank, cuts off the rotations, and that's huge. Luminosity goes 2-0 on the evening, but a big win there. Renegades tries to make a comeback, just doesn't work out for him in the end.
So with that said, Luminosity are going to be able to continue their push forward to possible 17 victories, which would, like I said before, give them a guaranteed first place seeding for North America going into the UK finals. They'll need to win one of their 2 remaining matches in order to get that. And now for the Renegades, they have one more match against Complexity on Tuesday, but even if they win that, I think the most they're going to be looking at is a 13 wins, and that's a lot lower than what a lot of our other teams may end up with over the next couple of days.
Yeah, they're going to have to rely on some teams losing out if they want to make the playoffs now, so a little bit of a bummer. Renegades comes very, very close to at least going 1-for-1 on the night, but it's not going to work out. One more doubleheader left. It's going to be CLG versus Optic when we come back from the break, so stay tuned, and we'll bring that action to you very, very shortly.